Doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Alright, hello guys, welcome to another stream. I'm just reading the last message there from King of the Dead. Now then, the question is if he's on time or not. I was nearly on time and then I realised I hadn't done my wet palette, so yeah, I'm late this evening. Apologies for that. Alright, let's start off. Alex, thank you very much for joining at Imperial Citizen tier. I really appreciate that. That is lovely to see another green name. Joke, still a grey name. Chair Knight, we are back to Chair Knight. I'm still actually waiting for my little duplicate of Sad Chair to turn up. Frag Eye has made one, so that will be with me soon. Alex, back again for some trouble. Yes, it's always trouble with you guys. It is always trouble. Good evening, King of the Dead. How are we all doing this evening? Are we good? Are we ready to do some weathering of the ash wastes? Because that is what we are going to do this evening. Basically, some of you might have seen that on Instagram I finished one of the shipping containers that's going to feature on section 1 of our ash wastes board. And basically I've still got 2 left over, and I kind of want to match the weathering that I've done on the first one. I might differ them a little bit just so they're not all exactly the same. But today, yeah, I'm just going to sort of sponge on some chipping, use some liquid pigments and some washes, and pardon me, and yeah, see what we come up with basically. Now I'm going to try and remember today all messages instead of just top messages, so that should set us off to a good start. So yeah, I've got a range of equipment today that I don't think I've actually used on stream before yet, because so far we have just done like transfers and little bits and bobs and some dry brushing. But today I'm going to try and get around to using my oil washers. But before we do that, we have to sponge on a bunch of chipping effects using some Rhinox hide. So that's what I'm going to do. I think we'll try and do them like, I don't know, bit by bit. So we'll do chipping on one, chipping on the other, and then move on to washes and so forth and so on. Alright, so let's do it. I don't actually have too much sponge left as well, because I kind of obliterated it for the first shipping container. Went a little bit overboard with the use of the sponge, but I was pretty happy with how it looks. I think it ties in really, really nicely. So if I can get these two to do the same, I will be very, very happy. Yeah, it's been a long time. I think I worked on a shipping container a long time ago, just as a little sort of experiment. So it's nice to be back and work on something a little bit more messy. King of the Dead, painting the last bits before a lot of oils on a tactical squad for Heresy. Awesome. Awesome stuff. What are we going with Legion-wise, King of the Dead? Also, have you tried the Knott's Hobby sponge holders? I have not. I have not. I think I've seen the little sponge holder tool thing. I remember, we won't dive into this, but I remember on Instagram at least seeing a little bit of controversy around sponge holders and like that kind of equipment. So I'm quite good just kind of pressing the sponge in, but yeah, you know, I have heard of them. Death Guard. That's adequately, you know, that ties in kind of with the griminess and the oils that we're using on these. So that's very fitting, King of the Dead. Alright, so as I say, I was late today because I thought I had, I mean this has happened so many times anyway, but I thought I had everything ready. And I sat down, about to press the button to go live, and then I was like, oh, I don't actually have my wet palette. And I do need that because it keeps the paint going for a bit longer, obviously. And when I'm sponging this, I tend to use, well, there tends to be quite a lot of wastage, I think, when you sponge the paint on. Also, I've got it all over my hands already, so that's a fantastic start to the stream. But yeah, I find when I am sponging it on, I tend to kind kind of waste a fair bit. So I want the wet palette to, yeah, keep it damp and make it last a little bit longer. So let's get going. At the moment, I figured that we would sort of go back and work on some of these details because I am just waiting for the time being for a little bit of shade, just to get our kind of like undercoat shades that we used on section 1 of the gaming table, which was some camo shade and some sepia. So I am just waiting for a couple of them to turn up from Toby. And we'll be ready to roll on that. But for now, I figured, yeah, let's do some details. And do I have any water? I probably don't have any water now, do I? That's very, very silly of me. So let's see if I've got a old pot of water I can use. There we go. Is that water? It's a little bit of a guessing game sometimes in the studio, whether it's water or whether it's mineral spirit. I think this is water, so we'll go with this. But yeah, I'm really enjoying sort of doing these details. I like how our first shipping container looks on the board, and obviously I just want to get these done so I can build our little sort of ascent route that's going to take us to sort of the end of the bridge, because obviously as it stands there's no way to get to the top of the bridge. And when the board is together, depending on which way you set it up, there's going to be 2 routes. So you'll be able to come out through the Hive City Wall gate and come across the bridge. And then you will be able to climb the shipping containers and a ladder to get to the top if, well, as another option. But obviously, like if you haven't set it up in front of the gate, you can use that as your ascent route, basically. King of the Dead, how about having a cup of drinking water next to the paint water and play brush roulette? That would not go down well. Do you know, I have not made that mistake yet. I have not been one of the people who have drank out of my paint water. I have my energy drink ready and I'm keeping it way over there, away from the mineral spirit and the water, just so I don't make that mistake. Also, it helps if you keep it in like a plastic paint lid or a ramekin, because you're less likely to drink from it then, because it's much smaller than a glass. Alex, designers used 45 feet containers in Copenhagen to make student homes because of the housing shortage for young people. So well-placed containers could double as habs. Yes, I absolutely agree, Alex. There are some fantastic habs that I've seen out there that people have made from the shipping containers. As of yet, I'm not going to turn any into habs, but in the future I definitely will. So you will see that eventually. Thirsty work already. Haven't even done anything. But yes, I have seen some very, very impressive habs made out of these shipping containers. But I think for the time being, because we've got our sort of ash waste nomad area, I think that's kind of, you know, it's going to be the inhabited area of our table. But as we move on sort of past the Hive City walls, so if we decide to go down the route that we start building up the hive behind the walls, I will certainly use shipping containers to make little habs. Just because I think the people that live right by the gate are probably going to have pretty shitty accommodation, let's say. Okay, yeah, let's start chipping anyway. Let's actually get some chipping done. So this method is probably one of my favorite methods just because it doesn't really require too much effort. Obviously you kind of want your chipping to be in a similar area, so you can imagine where it gets worn a little bit more. So I tend to go for like the top of the vents and the sides of the container. But the good thing is, it's quite hard to do wrong as well. Pardon me. Because, yeah, if you go a little bit too crazy, it doesn't make too much difference. Especially not in the ash wastes. Because the idea is that these are going to be heavily weathered. So yeah, if I stipple it a little bit too hard and it's a little bit overkill, it's not the end of the world. And I'm thinking this technique might look a little bit daft from this angle, just kind of gently prodding away at the shipping container. But yeah, the effect that it gives, which I will show you, is very, very good. It's like a much more natural way of achieving a chipping effect than just trying to paint it on with the brush. I mean, after you've used the sponge, you can always kind of enhance it. If you've missed some areas, you can always sort of use a brush to come in and kind of grubby it up a little bit more. So there's lots of room for maneuvering, basically, with this technique. I will be honest and tell you that this is one that I learned quite late on in the game as well. So it's not me imparting my own advice. This is a technique I have picked up from lots of other people on YouTube and Instagram. But I do recommend, and it's not just shipping containers, you know, it works on anything you're using as terrain, basically. So anything that's on a really rusty, dusty battlefield, you can use this technique to make it look weathered and worn. And this is going to be my last stream for a few days, because I'm going away on Friday, so I won't be back till... I'll be back on next Wednesday for another stream. So you won't be seeing me over the weekend. There won't be the usual Friday stream and the usual Sunday stream. But it'll be nice to have a break, I think, you know. I won't be doing anything Warhammer related at all. Be exploring Switzerland. So you'll notice as well, I painted both of these white, and I think what I'm going to do, just to give it a bit more variation, is I think I'm going to try and stain one with an oil wash of some kind. I mean, I use oil washes on them all of the time anyway, but I think what I might do is apply one a bit more heavily to change the shade of one of them. Just because I don't want them to be both exactly the same. Gloom Creature! Hello chums, hello Gloom Creature! How are you doing this evening? Welcome to the stream. We are just doing some chipping damage here this evening. Kind of not a high intensity stream this evening, if it ever is a high intensity stream. Just working on some of the smaller details for the project today. Alex, might be a good idea to have high ground in the wastes. Also thinking about the indigenous corrupted animal life. I'm sure there is plenty of that, Alex. You've given me something to think about there, because a while ago I bought one of the Age of Sigmar pieces of terrain, which is, I wonder if I can see it here, the Megadroth remains. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that piece of scenery. But basically, it's this kind of massive dragon-esque looking skeleton. And I thought it would be a perfect addition to a Necromunda board, especially an Ash Wastes kind of board. Again, I don't know whether it will go on this board, just because we have so much to go on this board. And only a finite amount of space, because we do need to get miniatures on it as well. But yeah, that is kind of something I think about when you mention sort of animal life, is what big beasties might have roamed Necromunda before it all got blown to pieces. And in terms of high ground, we are going to have our different HAB units. So this again is just another kind of like mock-up. I was playing around with them a little bit earlier just to see what I could achieve. So this is in no way a final representation of what we are going to have. But yeah, we are going to have these sort of various, these HABs at various heights. And we're also going to have the Hive City wall and the bridge as well. Obviously works as different heights. And yes, the shipping containers as well, because obviously you will ascend them to different points to get up to the top of the bridge. So there are going to be different different height variations on this gaming table for sure. Because I do want it to be interesting. I want to provide some variation. But yeah, a lot of this stream is probably going to be you looking at my face while I'm concentrating. So apologies if it's not as chatty as it usually is. I think I mentioned last stream that some of the things that I do when I'm not on stream, or some of the things that I deliberately do when I'm not on stream, are things like this, just because I feel like they require a bit more concentration, and obviously streaming and multitasking. I know it's not like crazy multitasking because it's just chatting with you guys as well, but yeah, it might be a little less interesting. I hope not, but we'll see how we get on. Yeah, doing well, Nihilus. It's good to hear, Gloom Creature. What are you up to this evening? King of the Dead. I use sponge chipping on marines with small enough sponges and good control over paint. You can get really good results. I don't think I've tried it on anything that small yet, King of the Dead. But I can imagine it working pretty damn well. The nice thing is with these containers, obviously, is you get a load of space to work with. So, yeah, you can be very just like, not careless, but definitely don't have to worry as much when you're applying it. Gloom Creature, having a lot of fun making Venator's list for Necromunda. There are some fun combinations you can come up with. I bet. I absolutely bet. I feel like it's funny actually because for the past few weeks, obviously us working on this project for Hobby House, I feel like the channel has kind of got a bit of a Necromunda spin on it at the moment. And obviously my main focus or my main interest is definitely like 40k stuff and obviously working on the Golden Throne. But Necromunda does hold a special place in my heart, I think. And it feels like we've pivoted a bit towards Necromunda at the moment. Gloom Creature, currently preparing bits to make those ideas. That sounds good, Gloom Creature. When you work on stuff, obviously you'll have to put more pictures in the Discord for me to take a gander at. I do enjoy looking at what you guys are working on. And obviously I will put some pictures in this evening of this. I keep forgetting recently, I have noticed that as well. I keep saying like, oh guys, I'll show you what I've done after the stream. And then I shut the stream down, I go in, and I go straight to bed. I go familiar with any of the Army Painter paints yet. I don't own any at the moment. And it's not because I'm not interested, I just haven't got around to doing it. But that sounds like it could be an interesting place to start, King of the Dead. So I might have to take a look at that. Again, I probably won't use that paint as a replacement for Camo Shade, just because I'm going to keep everything, or I'm going to keep my method of working the same way. So each section we do, I will do exactly the same way. You know, I will use black as an undercoat, Xandri, then I'll use the sort of undertones of Camo Shade and Seraphim Sepia. God, that's such a difficult name. And then my dry brushing on top. But in future, I'll give it a bash. I'll see what it's like. Rodney, reporting for duty, sir. Hello, Rodney. How are we doing this evening? A few regular faces here, which is nice. And I hope you are all doing well. You tuned in to see the last stream for a couple of days. I won't be streaming on Friday or Sunday. I will be away on holiday, so there will be no Warhammer related or Necromunda related content for the weekend. But I'm sure you guys will be absolutely fine. there is a wealth of other people to tune into, so I think you guys have plenty of choice. I'd say there's probably content that's a bit more riveting than a guy sponging on Rhinox hide to a shipping container, but hopefully the end result will impress you. I've got to remember at times that when I'm stippling this, sometimes I do it a little bit gingerly and I don't need to, because obviously the harder that you push this on, the more of the effect you get, and it's nice to have that kind of natural variation. Like, you don't need to gently stipple it all the time. Sometimes you can just kind of smush it on there and get bigger marks, because that is going to happen out there in the wastes. Rodney, enjoy your holiday. Thank you very much, Rodney. I am definitely going to. I haven't been on holiday with my partner for a year now, or over a year. It's been over a year. I don't know why I'm saying a year. It's been over a year. And I think I need a bit of a holiday. I do. Not so much because of this, as we know. I love doing this. I'd happily do this all the time. But I think just from, like, you know, my regular sort of job and everything, and I don't know, I need to just go somewhere and sort of chill out for a little bit and not worry about anything else. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. So, the other day as well, I also got to use my rust streaks for the first time. This is a tool that I have not used yet. Well, I have now, obviously, but I had not used up until that point. And I really, really like it. So it gave me a nice effect on the green shipping container. And I think it's going to look even better on white. I will say, I feel like I haven't quite nailed the technique with it yet. But I've certainly improved over the one shipping container that I've used it on. I ended up redoing a couple of panels, just putting the streaks on a little bit heavier. So I feel like the more I use it, the better I will become at perfecting the technique. Rodney, big update for 40k just dropped today. Do you know what, Rodney? That's not going to affect me in the slightest. I still do not play. But I did see, though, that being the case, I did see that a lot of the Space Marine stuff was put into Legends now, and a lot of the tanks, a lot of the quite iconic tanks were put into Legends. So I do feel like a lot of people were kind of expecting it, but also still disappointed. Mick Kelly, Golden Throne looks huge from this angle. Can see it in its splendor. Thank you very much, Mick. It is rather big and imposing, and obviously we do need to get back to it at some point. So once this project is done and dusted, we are going to spend a lot of quality time in the throne room. I have been saying on the streams that one of the benefits to working on something that isn't the Golden Throne is picking up new techniques. So working on this project for Hobby House has vastly improved my airbrush skills, which means that when we get back to the Golden Throne, I think we can push things forward a lot quicker than they have been moving. And yeah, I've also got some new ideas for things to include, not build bigger, but things to include to our current setup. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it when we do get back to it. Big Brain, greeting guy in Bristol. Greetings, Big Brain. How are you doing? How is the studying going, Big Brain? All well, I hope. No lectures today? No work to do this evening? Or are you multitasking again? Tuning into the stream and working? Because that's pretty impressive. Okay, so yeah, we are just continuing with our chipping, basically. I want to try and get both of these containers done, so even if we don't get all the weathering effects on these this evening, if I can get them sort of chipped and washed, that's just perfect for when I get back from holiday, because I can just get going with some of the pigments, and then they're done pretty much. essentially it's a bit like a factory line with these, because it's just chipping, oil wash. Obviously you take off your oil wash as well, you kind of reduce your oil wash, and then I use liquid pigments just to kind of get an extra little bit of rust and grime into all the corners. Joke! Evening guys, evening joke. Don't know why I paused halfway through saying that, it's like the brain can't quite catch up. Nothing to do today. Fair enough, big brain. So a day for you then, was it? A day for some hobbying, perhaps? Alex, you will try gold next time. Well, we still have gold to do, Alex. We definitely still have gold to do. I will be brutally honest, right? And I will tell you that if I had the chance to do this gold again, I would. Just because the method that I used to achieve the gold on the Golden Throne probably wasn't the best way of doing it. But there's no way in hell I'm repainting it all. So it just means I'm going to have to spend a little bit longer when I get back to it, picking out those edge highlights to bring the gold in a little bit more. Because I do feel that it's a little bit darker than I wanted it to be in terms of the shade of the gold. But you know, it is what it is, and we will work with it and just improve it. So it's not too big a deal, but yeah, if I had the time again, I would probably approach it a little bit differently. Engine Killer 30k, hello, welcome to the stream. How are you doing this evening? You've come to watch some sponging. We're doing a little bit of weathering this evening, which is something we haven't done on stream yet. A lot of the time I'm doing things that I consider a little bit easier to do when I'm like multitasking. Details are a little bit more tricky, and I find sometimes that I kind of lose my train of thought. So if I end up just like abruptly shutting up, it's because my brain has shut down and I forgot what I was talking about. But so far it's been okay. And we are getting there. I'm just trying to get a nice stippling effect. Again, not being too ginger with it. So, like there was a bit of a, I gave it a bit of a blob. So it looks very, very chipped, but I can work with it. And the way these are going to be placed, like the back of them, or one side is going to be against the bridge, so I can just decide which side I like more and then shove the other one against the wall. Yeah, I'm at work at the moment. I see. Watching a stream on the side, are we, Engine Killer? Got your headphones in. Joke, did you already finish, did you already finish to fix the scenery on the board? I haven't. Yeah, Joke, I haven't fixed anything on there yet. I haven't even fixed the statues on yet. The bridges, however, are done, so the bridges on the bridge are stuck down. But yeah, we haven't stuck anything down yet, Joke. Still gotta do that. Okay. But hopefully, if I can get these containers done, these can be stuck down, because from there I've just got to like stick the ladder on and a few little supports. And then yeah. I mean, the first section is 85% complete, I think. It's just a case of doing these little details like the shipping containers now. And I did mention earlier in the stream that I'm waiting for some shades for this section. So Toby from Hobby House is sending me some camo shade and some Seraphim Sepia, which is what I will spray directly onto this Xandri dust coated area. And I'm just selective about where I spray it, just for some little like subtle undertones. Then we'll dry brush it, and then yeah, kind of push forward with this. But while I wait for those to turn up, I am just finishing some details on section 1. And I know you're probably wondering why am I pointing over there like that, but that's because in my field of view, the first section of the gaming table is just over there. You can probably just about see it on the corner of the stream here. It's got a big bright light shining at the dome. Can we have a closer look? Of course you can. At the, do you want to have a look at the containers, Joke, or do you want to have a look at... I'd say I could give you a little bit of a better look at section 1, but section 1 is kind of tucked away at the moment. I will show you though, if you are keen, I will show you what the first shipping container looks like. and some Rhinox hide brown hands. Right, here we go. Let's see if I can get this to come up. But basically, yesterday, I was working on all the little details for this, and I am very happy with how it's turned out. So I just want my other shipping containers to, well, to look the same, basically. And I'm thinking, if anything, they should look better with white as the main colour, because I feel like the browns and the greens tend to blend in a little bit. So yeah, but that's what we're looking like. Big Brain, how many sections are there? Well, Big Brain, at the moment there's going to be 3. So we've got, well, we're working on 2 now. Section 1, as I say, is pretty much 85% done. And then we are saving the best to last, which will be the hive wall. I know that most of you are keen on the hive wall, because obviously that's going to be our biggest part of the build. It's going to be, well, certainly, yeah, the tallest. And I think, if anything, it's going to be the focus of the board. You know, it's going to be the thing that you see first, and then obviously your bridge and coming down to your ash waste section. But I'm looking forward to working on that. Joke, nice mate, thank you very much, Joke. I'm pretty damn happy with it, if I do say so myself. It did take a little bit longer than I expected the other day, so I was working on it for about 2 hours. Obviously I was doing some other little bits and bobs in between, but yeah, it did take a little while. Although sometimes I feel like when I'm working on different things, it takes a lot longer because I try and find the right thing to listen to while I'm working. And sometimes it just isn't happening. Let's try and chip these up a little bit more. I feel like the bottom of the shipping container is probably going to take a bit more of a battering than the top. And this white one is probably going to sit on the ground level, so I imagine that it is going to be slightly battered. Big Brain, the hive wall needs a motorized gate. We're not doing a motorized gate, Big Brain. You're already getting a motorized gate. You're already getting one. You can't have another one. And 100 subs, 100 gifted subs is not going to do it this time. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so this shipping container, I'm probably going to put some like dusty liquid pigment on the bottom as well. Because eventually, all the sections are going to have some regular pigment on them. Some greys and some, I was going to say like off-white kind of colours. Just to make it look a bit more ashy, basically. And yeah, I will apply some of that to this container as well, just because it'll be sat on the bottom floor. But here, I'll show you guys what this one is looking like. Alex, Big Brain is haunted by these motorized gates. I know, Big Brain wants every project to have a motorized gate. I feel like it's Big Brain's way of like leaving his stamp on things, which is fair enough. I'm not doing it with this one. I will do it with the, I will do it with the throne. I'll do it with the throne room, but I'm not doing it with this one because it'll take forever. All right, so here's a little look at how the effect sort of comes out on the white shipping container. Let's try and get it in the middle there. So, is that? I am showing the right side. I was worried I was showing you guys the side that I haven't chipped. But I feel like it looks really good on a white shipping container. And obviously that'll be dulled down a lot more when we put our dark brown wash on it. Big Brain, you know what? That is a good call, but I actually got it right this time. So I am already ahead of you with the chat filter. And it's on. It's on all comments. Ooh, nice. Thank you, Gloom. Yeah, I got it today, Big Brain. I've definitely got it. See? Chat filter, all messages. Got it right for once. Are those Vostroyan transfers? They are Gloom Creature, but not specifically from the old kits, because I don't think the old kits even had transfers for Vostroyans. In fact, I am like 100% sure they didn't. These are from the new Astra Militarum tank transfers. Or I don't know if it's just called... Wait, it might be. Let's see. I have one to hand somewhere. There we go. I see one already. It is the Astra Militarum vehicle transfer sheet. There are transfers for Vostroyans, Catachans, what else we got? There's Valhallan ones. Yeah, Cadia, there's all sorts on this. It is a fantastic sheet. I usually get them on eBay if you're interested. I get them on eBay for about £2 or £3 each. And I've probably bought like 20 of them. So really good. There's lots of different things. You've got all your warning symbols, you've got your numbers, you've got the different factions, you've got some, I don't even know what you would call these. There's just like codes and everything. It's a fantastic transfer sheet. Alex, the other one needs a Future Masic logo. What is a Future Masic logo, Alex? Is this going to be like a sci-fi thing that I should really know what it is and I don't? Is it going to be something that I should be ashamed of not knowing? Because I'm already starting to feel bad in advance. So I have a bunch more of these containers, and I don't know whether I'm going to use some of them at the bottom of the hive wall, because I had a little bit of a thought earlier before the stream, which was the potential of maybe like smashing some up and I was going to say sticking them into like the bottom of the wall. Because as I've mentioned, I kind of want the ash wastes to sort of rise up and meet the wall and kind of curve up, just giving that effect that maybe the sand has piled up over the hundreds/thousands of years. And one of the ideas was to just kind of smash up some containers and stick them in at the bottom so they look like they've been buried in there and sort of blown around by the ash waste storms and that kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see. I got the one with Commissar Graves. I'm trying to think of how to use them on miniatures since they are large but so cool. Gloom, could you do me a favor, because I didn't realize there was a sheet that came with that. Would you mind putting that on Discord for me? Because I would be very keen to see what that transfer sheet has on it. I always get really interested because transfers are my favorite part of this hobby, which might be a little bit lame, but I'm always looking for different transfer sheets that I haven't used before. So if the Commissar Graves miniature has a different transfer sheet, I'm going to try and get it. Not the miniature, I'll just see if someone's selling the transfer sheet, but I would very much appreciate that, Gloom, if it's possible. Big Brain, I have a deck list for Magic the Gathering I haven't been able to load anywhere. Weird when it's 251 kilobytes on my drive. Ooh, I don't know about that, Big Brain. Something buggy going on there? As I said, I am really not a tech guy, so if I was stuck with that, I would be in trouble. I'd be in a lot of trouble, but I am sure you can work it out, Big Brain, because you are a smart guy. Alex, biggest shipping company in Denmark. That does ring a bell now, actually. But I didn't know that off the top of my head, Alex. I feel like now you've said that, I can envision the name, but I'll be honest and say I did not know that, so... Alright, so let's do the other side. Let's just make sure... Because one of the things with this is when you are applying any kind of chipping damage, obviously if you go a little bit overboard it doesn't make too much of a difference, but it is easier to be a little bit more sparing because what's it, you can always add, you can't take away. So even though I say like, oh, it's not too bad if you go overboard, I do try not to just coat the whole thing because obviously I think too much of the effect kind of takes away from it. But when you kind of heavily attack the sides and the angles, that looks pretty good. I feel like that enhances the effect because it feels like that's where bits are going to be scratching against each other when they're stacked. Gloom Creature, I think is the... Oh, it's the exact same one. Ah, Gloom, you got my hopes up there for a second. I was thinking, oh, new transfer sheet. I'm going to get one of those. Damn it. Damn it, Gloom. Yeah, post it anyway, and I'll see if it's the same one, Gloom. I'll be like, oh. Hopefully in the future they keep doing the Necromunda ones, even though I know I got to buy a bunch of them before they go out of production. Because some of the ones that I've got, I had to snap up pretty quickly because they only made them for a few weeks and then they were gone, sold out online. And now, most of the time, if you want them, you have to pay some god-awful price on eBay. Which I try and avoid if possible. I always end up looking on the listings that start the cheapest. Buy it now, cheapest. Big Brain, 251 KB is, pure text is a lot. Well, I did not know that, Big Brain. As I said, I usually wing it when it comes to, like, anything techie. I feel like if you guys were a fly on the wall watching me make the videos I do for YouTube, you'd be like, what is he doing? And just, like, bashing rocks together. Especially for a card game list. It is a bit strange, though. It sounds a bit strange, Big Brain. Gloom Creature, sorry. It's okay. It is okay. I just got overly excited about it, Gloom. I was like, yeah, what haven't I seen? It's weird that happens, because I also had the same thing for Armageddon, where the box set was coming out, and I was like, oh, I probably won't buy the box set just because I've got enough Space Marines, and, you know, at the moment they're definitely not getting built. And I was like, oh, I wonder what the transfer sheet is going to be. I wonder how it's going to look. I wonder what I can pilfer for this project and the Golden Throne. And it was alright. Toby actually sent me one. So, where is it? I think I had that to hand as well. That is the Armageddon sheet. I know, granted, you probably can't see it that well from here, but essentially it's just your Orc transfers. The Crimson Fist transfers are actually really nice. And then you've got Ultramarines, Salamanders. But there isn't too much in the way of Aquillas, which I was a little bit disappointed by. Still pretty cool. How does this man edit a video? It's exactly like that, Big Brain. It is exactly like that. I am doing very, very basic editing. But as long as I can get a video out, which granted has not happened for a while now, then it's okay. Then it's a success. But I'm thinking once I've been refreshed after my holiday, I'm going to try and stitch some of this footage together for our first section for Hobby House and get that up on the channel. Because at the moment it's been very, very live stream heavy. But it's vastly, or it's very fastly, should I say, becoming my favourite method of working. Just because I can hang out with you guys at the same time as I'm working and just chat about shit as well. Big Brain, have you heard about the extreme power creep in 11? I have. I don't think I've sort of watched a whole video through about it, but I've heard that Space Marines are getting more powerful and you need less in an army. So I don't know whether that's gonna, I don't know, make a few people happy possibly and then others not so much. Because I know that in the lore, obviously, Space Marines are ridiculously OP. So I feel like maybe they're kind of heading in a direction where they match their lore a bit more, but I don't know how that works for people who've made all these lists for the previous edition and were having fun and now maybe not so much. I don't know, what do you guys think? Have many of you had hands-on with it? Okay, I think we're going to chip that a little bit more up here. Maybe around the side a little bit more too. Cool. I just don't want any spaces that are too untouched, you know? I don't want any big glaring gaps. Big Brain, it will not be balanced. Space Marines are becoming faster than Eldar. Oof. I can't imagine them being faster than Eldar, but I know that they've got to be pretty fast. I know they kind of look like they're lumbering a little bit when they walk, but I remember watching the Astartes animation a while back and seeing the way that Space Marines were depicted when they're running, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, and it's pretty terrifying. Because you can imagine they must be able to go pretty fast in the in their power armor. But, like you say, I can't really imagine them being faster than Eldar. I feel like Eldar are going to be, yeah, faster than Space Marines. Hard to shoot. Okay, let's get a bit more on there. Right, I need a hydration break, guys. Funny that the music would stop while I'm taking hefty swigs of energy drink. King of the Dead. Space Marines are supposed to be fast. That your brain thinks they are too fast for their size or bulk. Exactly that, King of the Dead. That's the kind of impression I get. So I don't know. I mean, for those people who really enjoy the lore aspect of things, them playing like that on the tabletop might be quite cool, but obviously there is the disconnect sometimes between the people who just like play the game and enjoy the game for the game, and then the lore guys like myself. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time when there's a new edition, there always seems to be quite a rocky start to it because of the changes. So I don't know whether it's something that people will get used to and then it will get changed again, or whether it's something that people are dead against. I like to quite heavily chip these vents. Not sure why, I just feel like it looks better. Let's see, Big Brain, they should stay at 6 inches. What have they moved to now? Was it? Or what can they move now? If it's not 6 inches? King of the Dead, also with the changes to balance, I feel more and more happy about sticking to Heresy and looking for people to play 5th Ed 40k with. Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Because you can just play the previous editions. You can find people who enjoy the other editions and play some of them. I feel like that's probably going to happen with Necromunda a fair bit if people don't enjoy the way that it's heading. Capacity. I don't think of myself as a tabletop gamer, more of a shelf-top gamer. I don't play, just collect. Perfectly acceptable, right? Then why do I collect dice? Do you know what, Capacity? You are not alone. Basically, I am the same way. So, I collect for rule of cool. I enjoy painting. I enjoy the lore. Don't play the game at all. Just love looking at the models. But I have dice. So I have Redemptionist dice for Necromunda that were like a limited, I think they've stopped making them now. And I also have some Middle-earth dice. And I have no reason to have dice because I don't play the game. But I bought them because they look cool. I think I might have got like hyped up a little bit too much, especially when they dropped Redemptionist. So I bought everything. I bought the book. Again, I don't really need the book because the rules I don't need. The lore is fantastic, so I enjoy that. And I bought the dice as well, so yeah. It's not just you, Capacity, it's me too. Big Brain, 8 inches. That does seem like quite a lot. I guess we're just going to have to see how it goes. You know, a lot of the time, this stuff is coming up on YouTube for me as suggested content because, well, I guess because I'm a Warhammer channel. So I kind of get this, I find out a little bit of information about it, but I tend not to do deep dive videos about what's changed and what hasn't because it doesn't mean that much to me. But yeah, I do kind of sympathize with you guys who are playing the game and you have these quite radical changes that you probably weren't expecting. Because I've said, like in one of our other streams earlier in the week, that Necromunda seems to have a bit of a mixed feel to it at the moment. Well, this is like second-hand information from people that I follow who play it. I've heard like mixed things about it, and that maybe it's not as flavorful as the previous version, so I don't know. I don't know. King of the Dead, my October hobby project will be a unit of 20 skeleton warriors for vampire counts. I don't play Old World, and I don't intend to play right now. Well, that's the thing. You just got to find something you enjoy and go for it, because you don't need to play. You know, if a model looks cool and you want to paint it up, why not? You choose how you want to do your hobby. It's all valid as well. You know, it's your enjoyment. I always find it a little bit strange when people get very particular about ways you should be hobbying. You can do it however the hell you want. You know, it's your miniatures. And if you're enjoying yourself, that counts as hobby. I don't care what you're painting them, whether they're bright pink or how they look. But yeah, that does sound very cool, King of the Dead. They also somewhat appeal to me, like the vampire count stuff, but I feel like if I was going to choose anything from the fantasy world, it would be Empire. And I know that's probably a little bit boring because it's the humans, but I always thought the Empire looked really cool. And Night Goblins, though. Night Goblins are also incredibly cool. Gloom Creature, those Necromunda dice are out of production now. I have them. I have had them for a while, and they're still mint in the box, because obviously they don't get rolled at all. So I feel like, yeah, I probably got swept up in the hype when those Redemptionist miniatures came out, and I was like, I'm going to buy everything. Absolutely everything related to Redemptionists. And I can't remember what the dice are that I've got. The Middle-earth dice. I think they're green. I want to say they're green dice. Maybe like... maybe... Are they the dead ones? The King of the Dead dice? Or Army of the Dead dice, possibly? Can't actually remember. Phone locked itself for some reason. I want those Space Elf Dino Riders. They do look cool, Big Brain. Are they available as an individual unit yet, or have you still got to try and find the box, which is very much impossible to get hold of now, I should imagine? So one of the things about those Kill Team boxes is they're really hard to get hold of if you don't manage to secure a pre-order. And I think, because there's the rumours of the next one being, what's it, Legion of the Damned and Orc Knobs, maybe? I feel like that's going to be one that flies off the shelves, because Legion of the Damned are probably going to look pretty cool. So yeah, that's going to be another one that people are struggling to get hold of. I need a bit more paint. Let's give this another shake. But I think we're kind of getting there with this container now. So we might be able to move on. I'm just going to do a little bit more on this one. Why is this turned off? I got to turn off my battery. I've got to turn off low battery mode. Let's try and do that. Battery. Power mode. Alright, cool. Green could be Rohan. I don't think there have been any Dead of Dunharrow dice for years. Well, King of the Dead, this is a long time ago. This is a long time ago, so it could be. And I haven't bought any of the new Rohan stuff. I haven't bought anything from Middle-earth for a long while now. In fact, probably last year or the year before, I actually sold some Middle-earth pieces that I did have. Because I had the Dol Guldur... how do you say it? Dol Guldur. Dol Guldur scenery, which I sold. God, that's a tongue twister. Just because I wasn't getting around to it. I do have the White Council kicking around somewhere, the weird resin set, but I don't think it's ever going to get built and painted. This is what I say when I bring up about not buying as much anymore. Or not buying as much that's not scenery. Scenery I always tend to get, just because it's going to get used, but a lot of the time now, I tend to just try and hold back a little bit, because I've got enough projects here. You know, in the studio, there's so many just Warhammer kits and like things to assemble and paint. And at the moment, I feel like me adding to it is not gonna help get anything done any quicker. But yeah, I can't guarantee the same when new scenery comes out, because it's very hard to resist new scenery. In fact, I'm starting to think, sort of regressing back to that Kill Team box with the Legion of the Damned, I'm starting to think that that bunker that Games Workshop sort of showed off in one of the background, or as one of the sort of background scenery pieces to the Orcs, I feel like that's probably going to be there in the Kill Team box set when that comes out, and I would like to get my hands on that. I also do want to try and get, at some point in the near future, some of the Necromunda pipes that they recently released, just because they look really cool. And it's Necromunda, so, you know. But see, we're nearly done with this one now. And we can let that dry for a little bit, even though most of it is probably dry already, because this technique doesn't stay wet for long. Gloom Creature. I think so far everyone is playing the new Necromunda with basic starter gear in skirmish games. I reckon that when it's been out long enough for people to play full campaigns, it will feel flavorful. Well, yeah, I hope so. I want people to have fun with the games that come out. You know, and also people having fun with Necromunda and investing in it means that they're going to make more things for it, and obviously I want that to happen from a scenery standpoint. Well, and a character standpoint, actually, because I do have a bunch of the Necromunda characters kicking around, and I want to paint them up. Rodney, any opinions on acrylic inks? I'm debating starting to use them. I've seen some cool metal effects on YouTube videos. Oh, I can't really say much on those, Rodney, just because I haven't really used them. I do have a white ink up in the house, which I haven't used yet, just because I've seen someone doing plasma coils with the white. I've seen quite a nice effect for that, so I did want to try and replicate it in the future. But I honestly, yeah, I haven't worked with them yet, so I don't really know what they're like. I'm sure you can probably get some really nice effects with them, though, judging by the video of the sort of white one, the white ink that I've seen. But it might just involve a little bit more research, Rodney. I'm sorry I can't be more helpful on that. Big Brain can't find the Dino Riders, so they're probably not an individual kit yet. I think it's going to be one of those things that does end up evolving into a full, well, its own sort of army, because I feel like people have wanted Exodites for a very long time, and it's probably going to start the same way that Krieg did in Kill Team, and then expand into their own army. King of the Dead, I like them, not use them for that, but white is nice, and I use brown on leather. There we go, Rodney. King of the Dead might be someone you need to speak to, because King of the Dead has his little tips, King of the Dead's tips and tricks on our Discord, so if you need help with anything, I'm sure King of the Dead would be happy to give you some pointers. He has set up a little page, or we've set up a page for him. So yeah. Because I know I'm not always helpful with a bunch of stuff, because again, like, I always sort of still consider that a lot of this I'm still learning. Getting there, but yeah, I'm not like a hobby guru who knows all this stuff. A lot of the time, when I'm trying a new technique, I will just go on YouTube and watch the first video that comes up. So yeah, when I'm talking about what I'm doing, I'm never really imparting any original advice. I'm just kind of regurgitating what I've heard. But I feel like I am always honest about it. I've never sat here talking to you guys being like, this is something I've developed and I know all about. I'm always like, yeah, this is what I've heard. This is not me coming up with this stuff. All right. Oh, wait, one more bit. I'm sorry, one more bit, and then I'll show you guys what that is looking like. Gloom Creature, have you seen the newish Sabbat Worlds Crusade book? It's written as an in-world history book of the campaign. It's really interesting. Excellent bedtime reading. I haven't, Gloom. I've got the last one, So I don't know if you remember that a few years ago they had, when Gaunt's Ghosts were released, as you know, as a plastic kit, they released the Sabbat Worlds Crusade book with the little medals in. So I got that, and I also got, I got the other one. There was two of them, and I've kind of leafed through them, but I haven't had a good read yet, which is really bad because I've had them for a long time. But no, I haven't seen the new one yet. Shruik, hello Shruik, good to see you again. Nice to see some cool 3D on that board. It's not a Necromunda game if you can't fall off somewhere. Exactly that, Shruik. This at the moment is just kind of experimenting with HAB stuff for our second section of the Hobby House Hive board. So none of this is set in stone yet, besides our ruined Manufactorum and obviously the stuff that's built into the base, such as the containers. All the HAB units are not stuck down yet. I'm just trying to come up with a good configuration for them really before I start painting them up. Although I did put some transfers on this one on stream. I'll get a little bit closer. I'm always pointing at the camera like you guys are going to see it from there. I painted up this one on stream. I did the transfers on stream the other day, which I was very happy with. A lot of airbrush work for this one. And that's kind of the theme we are going to go for with our HABs, is a Enforcer-based theme. So a kind of yellow with some transfers. But yeah, it's not a Necromunda board if there's not some sort of height variations and something you can trip and fall off of. Glenn, oh ho ho ho, it's Mr. XSD Brush himself, Imperium Nihilus. Thank you for using my link, Glenn. I really appreciate that. You got the XSD, did you? You got the extra small one. Yeah, and unfortunately, well actually fortunately, I do not name the brushes for Artis Opus. They do all the naming. But the brushes are really, really good. I do stand by their brushes, and anytime I'm doing any detail work or dry brush work, I do use their brushes. That being said, one caveat here, which is my own fault and not their fault, is I wore my brush down to a nub, no pun intended, Glenn, because I went to town on that first section, and basically I just sort of decreased it by half. So for like future gravelly sections that I'm spending like hours on, I'm going to use a cheap brush because I don't want to burn through all my nice ones. But aside from that, perfect brushes, and I used them before I was affiliated with them, so that tells you all you need to know. King of the Dead, the specific tips the channel might have gone, whoa, I'm not reading that right. The specific tips channel might have gone when the chat channel was changed. Oh, although just give me a ping and I can share what I know for inks. Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay. Well, we will, yeah. I'll find out. It might just have been because it was condensed King of the Dead, but if anyone does need painting advice, King of the Dead is very, very helpful, and he knows his stuff. So if you ask me on stream and I go, I don't know, I will defer you to King of the Dead, because he knows what he's on about, basically. Rodney, King of the Dead, thank you, there we go. Glenn, I bought a cheap set of dry brushes, never again, maybe for terrain. Exactly. So for this kind of terrain that I'm doing, I am going to use a cheap dry brush from now on, because I just, you know, I wear them down too quickly is the problem. So I am going to use a cheap one but that's just like the texture stuff. Anything else, when I'm doing the plastic miniatures and I'm doing statues and stuff, I'm going to use my Artis Opus brush because it's fantastic. But I went for like 2 hours worth of dry brushing on that table, and I just wore my brush down to a nub. So yes, that really done some damage, basically. Nihilus, only question, the Artis Opus deal brushes, are the Artis Opus deal brushes decent? The deal brushes, I'm not sure I've tried any of the deal brushes. I can tell you the brushes that I have and that I have used. So the one I've actually got the box to hand, so I can tell you guys exactly what I have. Excuse me, sad chair, hashtag sad chair. So there's probably none of them in the box because I think I've all got them in. I've got them in a glass at the moment. But I have the Series D and M, which see, I'm going to open this and the box is going to be empty, or it's going to have like one brush in. But this set came with the dry brushes in there. Dry brushes, detail brushes. You've got your what is it? It's like a wet sponge to keep your dry brushes a little bit damp. And then your brush holder, and there is some soap there, which I've got somewhere else. All of those brushes I have used, and they are fantastic. The detail brushes, really good. Obviously dry brushes I've used on stream, I really like. Yeah, so I like all those basically, Glenn. I think they're really good. Yeah, okay, you did say, I wondered what you meant, deal. I was like, there's deal brushes? Yes, the detail brushes, Glenn, are really, really good. So I recommend if you do need a good detail brush. Obviously, a lot of it is, which sometimes I'm quite bad at, but keeping your brush in good nick by making sure you wash it regularly. You can use the brush soap. And I always kind of try and, you know, bring it back to a point when I finished using it and put the plastic protector back on. So yeah. If you do that as well, practice good brush, I don't know, brush keeping skills, it'll last a lot longer. Shruik, that's honestly the best part of painting terrain. You can just do massive strokes and not care if the tiny details aren't perfect, unless you decide to highlight a billion oh, I see, a billion floor tiles. I see where you go with that, Shruik. Yes, we still need to go back to that. And I know it sounds so daft. It sounds really, really daft. But as I look over my shoulder, this little corner that I have edge highlighted with the gold, it looks so much better than the rest of the board. So even though it's a really dumb undertaking, it's going to be worth it just to kind of bring the gold back a bit more. Again, you might not have seen it earlier on stream, Sharuk, but we kind of touched on it, that I feel like I went a little bit dark with the gold on this diorama. And again, it's all part of like getting back into the hobby and kind of learning bits and bobs. So if I had my chance again, I would probably do the gold a different way. So edge highlighting is just basically a way for me to bring it back a bit. But yeah, in terms of like massive brush strokes and everything, it is really cool, especially with like the gravel and you know, the ash waste sort of terrain. It's really, you can be kind of carefree with it. Glenn, sad chair. Big Brain, do you get any discount at Artis Opus as an affiliate? I do. Well, I do. I get the same as what I offer, basically. And I have had some brushes sent to me free of charge. So yeah, you know, there are some perks, and obviously, being an affiliate, anytime you guys order from Artis Opus through my link, I get a bit of kickback. So yeah, you know, there are some perks with being affiliated. And I get to use a product that I like, so that's always beneficial as well. Alex, you can get this corrugated electrician's pipe. Looks good for half-buried pipelines or sewers. Corrugated electrician's pipe. I think I have like a plastic pipe somewhere, actually, Alex, which is quite a thin one. I don't know if it's something you put like computer wires in, but I have a cord of that somewhere, which I do want to use at some point. I just haven't, I haven't given it a second look yet, unfortunately. Nihilus only question, deal or no deal? It depends, Glenn. It depends what you're offering, deal or no deal. I'm going to say deal. Fragai, hello Fragai, how are we doing? Welcome to the stream. Glenn, hi Fragai. Big Brain, I need some better brushes than my cheap synthetic brushes. Well, Big Brain, I do recommend Artis Opus. I really do recommend them. As I said, without parroting on, I was using their brushes before I was affiliated, so, you know, that shows I like them. And I have touched on before that I don't want to be one of those guys, like when I do hobby and stuff, I want to recommend things that I think are good. I don't want to be like, oh, here's something that I've been approached with to tell you guys is good, when it's not, because I'm not doing that. That's shit. No one wants that shit. Fragai, my mind is fried. Why is that, Fragai? What's going on? Are you tired? Are the Juves keeping you up? The gang, the new gang members. Well, hopefully you can unwind and listen to me absolutely babble for a little bit. I feel like that's not an enticing offer, though. Listen to me talk absolute shit for a couple of hours. Gloom Creature, hi, seal or no seal? It's got to be seal. Who doesn't like seals? Seals are great. Do you know what's even better? Purity seals. Right. So I haven't brought it up yet as well, but if you are enjoying the stream, don't forget to stick a like on it, guys, because YouTube promotes it a little bit more, and I really appreciate it if you do. That is, if you're enjoying it. If you don't enjoy it, stick a thumbs down and tell me I suck. Big Brain, importing duties to Norway are crazy high. That does suck, Big Brain. I can't do anything about that, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, I think small businesses as well are getting it a little bit heavy at the moment with like importing stuff. I've seen a lot of posts. Obviously, I follow a fair few people on Instagram, and I have seen a couple of posts about packing and stuff now for sending things into the EU. I don't know much about it. All I know is that there's some weird packing regulations or something now. Gloom Creature, I didn't think of that. Oh, Glenn, Nihilus only question, have you already eaten a meal or no meals? I have eaten, Glenn. I prepared today. Guess what I had, Glenn? You can guess what I had. King of the Dead, Outland might stock. They have had Artis Opus before at Big Brain 05. If not, check out KEM's selection of small scale brushes, fairly cheap, no import duties. Yeah, it seems to be one of those things. I think I've had it a few times sending to Germany in the past, but obviously I haven't sent anything to the EU for quite a while. I haven't done a batch of shirts recently, which I do need to do. But yeah, so I don't know how things have changed. I will have to check that out actually before I send anything in future, otherwise I'm going to get in trouble. Joke, I paid €75 for some minis from the US. Wow! Was that just for shipping, Joke? That is crazy. Yeah. I can't even speak to how it works sending stuff to the US at the moment. Fragai, how was your birthday, Nihilus? My birthday was great, thank you, Fragai. I like a very low-key birthday, so I just went out with my missus for a bit, went to look at some shops, didn't really do anything high octane, just kind of enjoyed the day together, and then spent some time with my family as well. So yeah, it was nice. I don't really like making a big deal about my birthday. I'm not like a huge party guy. I kind of like keeping myself to myself on my birthday, you know? Glenn, a pie with parsley sauce or a pasty with a whole jar of full fat mayonnaise? Oh my god, Glenn, we're going back down that route. You know it's going to be the pie and parsley sauce because no one's going to eat a pasty and a whole jar of mayonnaise. That's sickening. That is absolutely sickening. You only need a spoonful of mayonnaise. Fragai, you sent a patch to the EU. I did, Fragai, but you know what? I just sent it in a letter, and I said it was a gift because it, you know, kind of was. So, yeah, no, I didn't have to abide by anything for that, or they didn't ask me to. It was just the same as sending a letter. Don't grass me up to the authorities, Fragai. You can get me in trouble. Joke, no, just the orange, tax plus shipping. Ooh. We're just like sending things at the moment. I'm kind of glad that I'm not really sending anything that I've produced. So, a few of you might have seen on Instagram a while back, I had this sort of collaboration with Spearhead IRL. So Spearhead IRL is a designer, I'll say. Does a lot of band t-shirts for metal bands, you know, black metal, heavy metal, all the good stuff. And we teamed up on a shirt for the channel and the sort of the things that I do. a kind of Dark Throne inspired t-shirt. And basically, Spearhead handled all of the shipping and distribution because he's got a company that prints stuff and, well, he doesn't own it, but he works with a company that prints stuff and ships it all over. So they kind of handle everything, basically. But I would be lost. If I was doing it on my own, I just wouldn't know where to start with jumping through all these hoops, getting stuff to other countries. So, one, I really appreciate Spearhead kind of producing some awesome artwork for me. And two, handling all that stuff as well. So, you know, go and check out his stuff. You can find him on Instagram at @SpearheadIRL, and his stuff is brilliant. Especially if you like heavier music, you will certainly appreciate the artwork. He's even done some work for Machine Head as well, which is fucking amazing. So, you're gonna hear me bragging like, oh yes, I've worked with someone who's done work for Machine Head. But yeah, fantastic designer, fantastic artist. I recommend checking his stuff out. I'm guessing you're about 36. Oh, that's rough. Do I look 36? Oh, no. I think I got to do better skincare, guys. You're not far off, Big Brain. You're not far off. I am 34 now. So luckily, I still have 2 more years before I'm 36. But yeah, I am 34 years old. I am. And I feel like birthdays get less exciting each year they go by because you just get older and older and older. Glenn, is the patch autographed? It's not. It's not, Glenn. I've signed the card, but I haven't signed the patch. I've only ever had one request to sign a patch, which I did, obviously. I think I ended up painting my name on it because there's no real easy way of kind of leaving an ink mark on there because it's already quite a dark patch. So yeah, Glenn, I haven't signed it. No, I'm sorry. I don't feel like I'm big enough to autograph things. I'm just a humble YouTuber. I'm just a humble hobbyist. Alex, you really need to think about what you are ordering these days. Ordered some super nice 1/16 scale hand weapons from Ringo Resin in Swindon. Paid a tad double in Danish tax and customs handling. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Obviously, there's 2 things at play as well. There is, it sucks for the customer. So Alex, for example, buying something that he likes and wants, and paying double the amount. You know, no one wants to do that. And then from a small business standpoint, you don't want to be charging your customers, you know, you don't want your customers to have to pay this much money to get something they want, because it's just, well, it doesn't encourage them to come back, does it? Even if the product is fantastic, you don't want to be paying over the odds for shipping and just customs and handling and all this crap. You know, it feels like things have got much more difficult when it comes to sending things to different countries. And it's just a shame. You know, I feel like it does stop people from maybe launching their own small businesses. And it also stops potential customers because they see the shipping and handling and they're like, well, I'm not buying that now because it's too expensive. Gloom Creature, big enough that someone asking for a signature might be a fan or might be a fraudster. Well, do you know what? I'll let you in on a little secret. When I sign something for, you know, for this channel or whatever, I don't sign my real name. I just sign Nihilus. I just have like a metal-inspired signature that I do. Because obviously I've got my my boring government-issued name. No one wants that. You want Nihilus. That sounds much better. Nah, companies don't care, mate. I think some do. I would argue with you, Joke. I would argue that some smaller companies do. I feel like bigger companies not so much. But I do follow a few people on Instagram who make things that are hobby related. And they say that just a lot of the stuff is kind of killing the business. And I do find that a shame, really. Because you don't want, you know, you don't want the big companies to rule the roost. You certainly don't want companies like, you know, Amazon, who already have a monopoly. You don't want them getting involved. So I feel like it's good to support smaller companies, you know. Yeah. Customer endorse all the final costs. Well, I think, you know, you're kind of shown what it's going to cost, but, you know, let's be honest, if something is cheaper, I feel like you're going to go back more frequently, depending on what you get. Because you could compare it to Warhammer. If your Warhammer was cheaper, you probably would buy more. Or at least I would. Glenn, Nihilus only question, talking of Danish export and import taxes, begs the question, what's your favourite type of Danish? A, pecan, B, apple, C, chocolate, D, cream cheese. Cream cheese in a Danish. Glenn, I feel like you've missed the best one. So obviously, you know, custard in a Danish, apple Danish is really good. I cannot lie, that is a very, very close second. But we are going to have E, custard. Because the Danish with the sort of ring Danish with the custard blob in the middle is, I get that quite a lot. It is a very nice pastry. And a pastry and a coffee, especially on a day where I've got like the whole day to work on anything project related, I will start the day with a pastry and a coffee. If you expect me to get anything done, I need coffee and I need pastry. Okay. Going a little bit slower with this with this second shipping container here. All this talk of import and exports. You got me riled up now. And I'm not doing my job. Right. Tell you what I did do today. I spent a bit of time looking at the Gamescom stuff. I don't know if any of you guys are particularly big video game guys. I'm not huge myself, but I do like a few of the games that they're showing. But specifically, they were showing a little bit of Songs of the Past for The Witcher, or The Witcher 3, which is, yeah, an 11-year-old game now. And they're still making some new DLC for it. And I am really keen to try it because I spent a lot of time on that game. And aside from Warhammer and anything Necromunda related, I am a huge fan of The Witcher. So, I did say before that when this expansion comes out, I'm not going to stream as much because I'm going to be playing that. But I thought that was really, really interesting. Although they always do that thing where they tend not to give too much away. So it's a little bit disappointing because you only get tiny snippets. I play some games. What was it you play again, Big Brain? I can't remember. I think you might have told me before, but I got a memory like a goldfish. Oh, Glenn redacted something. What are you redacting, Glenn? You were going to say, I hate The Witcher. Why are you talking about The Witcher? I'm here for Warhammer content. Oh, I hate the word content. I don't know why I use that. I absolutely hate that word. But yeah, I do enjoy some video games from time to time. Space Marine 2 is another one that you guys know about because Joke keeps making the joke. Joke keeps making the joke, surprisingly, about my Avarax build, which is hanging on the wall. That's all I got to, was one tile of Avarax. Nihilus only question, as you are now 37, I'm not 37, Glenn. I am not 37. Am I really looking that rough at the moment? Do I need to trim the beard and cut the hair? This is bad. 37? 36? Fragai, oh, I will binge play that when it comes out. That'd be me and you both, Fragai. Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot is a damn good game. I am a bit of a sucker for nostalgia and nostalgic games and all that kind of stuff. Crash Bandicoot is fantastic. It's rage-inducing, but it's fantastic. And I was really disappointed when they made the new game, and because it didn't sell 10 million copies or whatever, they decided not to continue with another one after that. So that's a big shame. But Crash Bandicoot is a fantastic game, Glenn. That is a good shout. King of the Dead, all this talk of coffee makes me want to go and get a cup right now. Looking forward to Dawn of War 4 and Total War Warhammer 40k. Besides that, not much gaming for now. I have a degree in game programming. Damn, that is cool, King of the Dead. That is cool. Do you know what? Since you mentioned it, actually, Total War Warhammer 40k. So I missed the boat with a lot of these games, especially like Dawn of War. And I've never played any of the Dawn of War games. But I'm very tempted to play the Total War 40k game because I've seen some gameplay for it, and I feel like I would have a bit of a blast with that. So I think I might try that when it comes out. Go. Just trying to get this chipping a little bit less awkward. For some reason, that section it doesn't look fantastic. But I'm sure when it's all covered up, it will be fine. Joke, I'm crying, my poor side project, I know. It's been pushed even further back, Joke. It's been pushed right to the back of the queue, because we got Hive City meets the Ash Waste to do now. We got the Golden Throne to catch up on. Avarax has been just pushed to the back. Big Brain, I play sci-fi Grand Strategy. Grand Strategy? Why do I feel like you might have told me that before? Glenn, Imperium Nihilist question only. What's your most rage-inducing game of all time? Well, when you're as bad at games as I am, it's pretty much any game, to be fair, Glenn. Sometimes, even when I'm having fun playing Space Marine 2 against other people online, I'm still like, fuck, shit. You know, all of that. Losing my temper. Obviously, it's a bit worse than just that, you know. When I get killed, I get a bit ragey. So yeah, basically, Glenn, any game, any online game. A bit of a blast, if you pardon the pun. Capacity, typical influencer. He's clearly sponsored by The Witcher 3. These 39-year-old content creators are all the same. Guys, it's getting worse. 39 now. Do you know what, though, Capacity? If I was sponsored by Witcher 3, I would be dead happy with that. Even though none of the videos I have made, apart from chatting about it on live streams, are about Witcher, I would happily plug that game. I've played that game like 3 times, but 39-year-old, oh my god. You guys are bad. You guys are bad. You're gonna have me staring in the mirror for a few hours before I go to bed going, do I look that old? Do I really look that old? Okay, I have gone a little bit too heavy, I think, on a section of this, and I'm totally blaming it on you guys. But I think we'll get away with it. I think what I might do is just heavily chip this shipping container more so than the previous one we've just done, and give it a bit more weathering too, because I've kind of done a big splodge at the top here. But it's alright, we will make it work. Lol at 39, Glenn. Big Brain, so are you willing to sell out? It depends. If it was The Witcher, I'd be willing to sell out. I have discussed before, though, like, if I'm working with companies that, you know, are giving me hobby tools and stuff like that, I will only recommend stuff I think is good. I don't want to be someone who just tells people stuff is good for a quick buck. I feel like it's not very ethical, and also, like, why would you do that to people who are interested in what you do? I just feel like it's really cheap. It's really cheap, and it kind of pisses me off. So no, Big Brain. Like, hypothetically for The Witcher, because The Witcher is a good game, like, yeah, maybe I'd sell out a bit for that and start making start doing a stream a week that was dedicated to The Witcher. Sure, why not? But in terms of just selling out for anyone, no thank you. Warhammer managed to snag the new Orc Codex later today. Have anyone questions about it and the new data sheets? Well, there we go. Anyone has any questions about the orcs? Warhammer has you covered. Fragai, I'm 39, close to 40, but today I look way older. Damn, Fragai, are you having one of those days? Are you okay? Are you genuinely okay? Because I know that sometimes we get those days where you're just like, fuck. So hopefully, Fragai, your day isn't that bad. I'm hoping that it's just kind of, you know, one of those days, but, you know. Big Brain, how broken are the orcs? There we go, there's the first question. Alex, when younger, I kept my local game store busy with joypads, hauled so many through the living room. Stupid. Fragai, yeah, just sleep deprived. Well, hopefully you get a good night's sleep tonight, Fragai. Hopefully you do. 33 over here. So a lot of us are in a similar boat here, guys. Come on. Come on. 39. Warhammer Gargantuan Squigoth is Legends now. I feel like you guys are probably going to see a lot more of that, judging by like the Space Marine stuff and how much has gone into Legends. Feels like it's not out of the realm of possibility. The new Juve was screaming through the night. But Fragai, you must have, you know, you must have known that that was going to happen at some point. Hopefully it doesn't happen all the time, but, you know, surely it's going to happen from time to time. But I hope you get a good night's sleep tonight, because I am one of those people who know how hard it is to function on very little sleep, and I can't, you know. If I don't get a good night's sleep, I am miserable. I am just the worst. Big Brain. The guy with War in his name is an orc player. Who would have guessed? I couldn't tell the warning signs were there. That's good, Big Brain. Glenn, 39 and 48 months. 39 and 48 months? Wait, what? King of the Dead, I got asked if I was over 25 when buying beer yesterday, which is funny because at 20 I bought strong spirits without getting ID'd. Do you know what though, King of the Dead? That is one of those things that as you get older you kind of wish people would ID you more. Because when people stop IDing you, you just realise that you know you're getting to look like you're you know your age. So make the most of it, King of the Dead. Honestly. Enjoy it, revel in it. When someone asks you for your ID, just go, yeah, okay. Because they think you look young. I never get asked for ID now, so I clearly look haggard. Capacity, 42 in the lead. Thanks, Capacity. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. Warhammer, no new GOT tanks? No new grot tanks? King of the Dead, also 10 tactical marines shaded will dry brush up the metal tomorrow. Well done, King of the Dead. I think you're making more progress than me at the moment. I have started doing a bit too much yapping, I think. And it might have led to this shipping container being slightly more weathered than the rest of them. But it's okay, because I'll make it work. I'll say that this one has been sat in the ash waste for significantly longer than the others. Warhammer, but there is a Beast Snagger dedicated detachment. Glenn, Nihilus only sponsor, just for men, get rid of the grey. Ooh, I have a few of them though. Glenn, I definitely have a few of the greys coming in. Sides of the head are pretty much grey now. Luckily, from there you can't see it, but believe me, they're there. Or maybe it's just you guys in chat making my hair go grey. I started this stream with nice brown hair and now it's going grey. Shruik, the beard is the biggest factor, I think so, but I look like a little chubby baby face without a beard, Shruik. I do. And my missus won't let me get rid of the beard, so I don't think it's going to happen. Alex, you are lucky young man, kid of 69. You first wonder when you wake up Sunday noon and not even the mirror wants to show you back. Oh, Alex. Oh, but, you know, I feel like this is going to sound probably a wee bit corny, but age is just a number. You know, you think of our sort of varied age group now hanging out on live stream. We are all different ages, but we have all come together in enjoyment of the same thing. So I feel like age is kind of just a number, you know. Shrook, after I grew it out, I never got ID'd. Yeah, I feel like a beard is a good way of sort of hiding the baby face, to be fair. I've had one for a few years now, a beard, and yeah, I never get ID'd. But I feel like with the grey hair, or with the, you know, the grey sides of the head, you can kind of tell I'm not under 18. Warhammer, War is now also +1 attacks in shooting, not just melee. There we go. Warhammer is spitting the facts on the new codex. King of the Dead, last time I saw my chin, people didn't recognize me. I have enough beard to be a space wolf. Well, that sounds cool though, King of the Dead. That sounds very cool. One of the reasons that I don't shave my beard is just because I got, like, I don't know, I got a baby face. So I feel like a beard suits me a bit more. I don't think a really, really long beard suits me, but this is kind of the right sort of length for me, I think. Although it could probably do with a trim at the moment. Warhammer, personally, the new record attachment is the best by far. Do we have many orc players, or is Warhammer the main orc guy in this stream? Big Brain, I haven't been ID'd. Fair enough, Big Brain. Maybe you're a tall guy. Maybe it's those Nordic genes you got there, Big Brain. Glenn, and what a number, 69, giggity. Do you know what, Glenn? That's usually the kind of joke that Alex would make if someone else said it, so. Warhammer, there's also a new flying-based attachment called Flyboys. Maybe there's some new miniatures coming in for them then, Warhammer. I feel like there's probably still a few new miniatures to come for orcs that we haven't seen yet. I think there's supposed to be a second wave. Born to do it, Glenn. There we go. See, I told you. I told you he'd do it. Warhammer, and a new psychic-based orc detachment, so we probably are going to have another round of orc miniatures, to be fair. I do like the new orcs. I especially like the kind of boss character they have now, who they've made like double the size of your average orc, with his little grot next to him. I feel like that's really cool instead of having them all roughly the same size. Kind of like the idea that you are going to have the much larger orcs who boss everyone else around. And Nasdreg's rules are good. There we go, guys, some positive. I think you guys might be able to see where I've kind of heavily weathered this at the top. You probably can't from there. But basically, I've done it a little bit... Oop, I'm going to trip over. I've chipped it a little bit heavier at the top there. There we go, when it loads in. But it's fine, because I feel like once we get all the pigments on there and everything, like, you're not, you know, no one's going to notice that too much. King of the Dead, orc player in spirit, wanted to play it back when I got into this game, but never finished an army for it. I will use the new kits to slowly build myself a 5th edition orc army using the 4th Ed Codex. That sounds cool though, King of the Dead. I know you did mention earlier that you enjoy playing 5th edition. It's weird because I never played any of those editions. I think the only edition of 40k I've ever played in my life was 3rd edition as a kid, and I couldn't even remember how it plays, you know. It's been that long. Big Brain, I don't buy alcoholic drinks, and last time I checked, oats don't have an age limit. Oh, that's fair enough, Big Brain. They don't have an age limit yet, Big Brain. You wait. You'll wake up tomorrow and they'll put an age limit on oats. And then you'll be telling me about it in stream. Another new change is boys have explosives keywords, sorry. Did you say keyword? No, he did say keyword, whoops. Okay, so I'm gonna try and get this finished. Because I was hoping, I mean it's already 20 to 10 now, I was hoping to get some washes on these and buff the washes off of them, but I feel like I might not actually get to that. which is a bit of a shame. Don't forget, guys, if you like the stream, can you like the stream? If you like it, can you like? Also, if you guys are here regularly and you do enjoy this kind of stuff, you can further support the channel by becoming a channel member and turning your name green. Alex recently joined as a channel member today, so I really appreciate that. And it just helps me do these a little bit more often, so please do consider it. King of the Dead, I've played 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 10th so far. I like 5th the best, and I like Heresy as it leans more into the 4th, 7th, into how 4th to 7th worked. I feel like I couldn't tell you the difference between any of them, King of the Dead. But it sounds like a blast though. I feel like Heresy is something I would probably enjoy. I just don't want to paint a bunch of miniatures for it. Alex, only drink 2 times a year, when our king has his birthday and when he... Oh, I see. Fair enough, Alex. Let's hope that second one keeps happening for a while as well. Capacity. When they re-released the original Land Raider as the Proteus, in brackets, which was a great homage, but in 30k I still see it as the Land Raider. Like I'm 10k years old, a firstborn. I was there 10,000 years ago. Similar vibe for me, Capacity. I remember as a kid, my first sort of interaction with seeing other Warhammer miniatures was, must have been, you know, a kid in like some year in my primary school with one of those Land Raider tanks and some Space Marines. So yeah, I know what it feels like. I remember those too. I do like the homage though, as you say, like the Proteus one is pretty cool. I feel like it's not exactly the same thing, but yeah, it is a nice homage to it. Joke stopped drinking 9 years ago. Oh, we've got a very similar crowd here. Fair play. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to make sure I balance this out a little bit because I have stippled it very heavily in some areas. So I'm just trying to make it work. Big Brain, can't stop drinking when I never started. That is, yeah. That checks out, Big Brain. That definitely checks out. It's more time to do some hobbying anyway, guys. More time to get some painting done and get those armies assembled. King of the Dead, paint custodies for Heresy. I have 18 infantry, 3 heavy infantry, 3 characters, 2 tanks, 1 dreadnought and 1 knight lancer. That's probably what I would go for, King of the Dead. I just don't want to paint mountains of Space Marines. I know I could do it with the airbrush, you know, and give them their base coat and give them a highlight and everything. I don't know, I just don't want to. Even though I have 2 boxes I still got to paint. I still got Saturnine to do, and I've still got the first box set that came out when they relaunched Heresy. So yeah, I got loads to do. I don't know. I got loads on my plate. I'm just never gonna get around to it. Frag Guy, I'm an ex-bartender and sales rep. I still drink too much. We each have our vice. I'm sure you still find the time to paint though, don't you, Frag Guy? You still find the time to get those Valkyries done. So that's all that matters. King of the Dead, this lands me at 4k points. Nice. Correction, 3k points. Still, nice either way. Tiny Lord, looks like Ash Waste in real life, so it's dead. It's so dead. It's so dead. It's getting there. Also, welcome to the stream, Tiny Lord. It's good to see you. Joke, but smoking wood like like Snoopy. Oh. Big Brain, Heresy doesn't have space for Elf, it's so unplayable. That's why Big Brain won't touch it. Warhammer, is this board set on Necromunda or Armageddon? Well, Warhammer, my setting, or my idea for the setting was Necromunda, but essentially it could be used for both, because both Armageddon and Necromunda have very similar vibes in terms of like the kind of wasteland aspect of things. So yeah, basically it could do both, but in my mind it's mainly Necromunda. And on a few of the pieces of scenery it does sort of reference Necromunda. There are like Necromunda transfers, so yeah, I'd mainly say that. Tiny Lord, hey Joke. Shrewik, back when I was in the military I used to drink too much. Thankfully I realised it was unhealthy and stopped before it became a problem. That place is a breeding ground for drinking and smoking issues. Well, it's a good thing that you have come out the other side of that, Shrewik. I think it's good to find something to do with your time, you know, like something productive to do with your time. Again, I feel like that's why this hobby is a fantastic outlet for that kind of stuff, because you can kind of just immerse yourself for a few hours and take your mind off the rest of the world, and it just gives you something to focus on. So I feel like the hobby has a lot of positive aspects behind it. Frag I only drink at work. I don't know whether to question that one more, Frag or not. Next board is Terra or Better Mars. Ooh, I would like to do a Mars board at some point, Big Brain. The next one after this will obviously be Terra, because we will be going back to the Golden Throne and getting some more done, because it has been neglected. It has been neglected for quite a while now, guys, and I know that a lot of you do want to see some more work done on it. So that is what we are going to do after we get our Hive City meets the Ash Wastes board completed. We'll spend a bit more time on the Golden Throne. Would you ever do a Snowy Death World, heavily trench Krieg sort of board? I would definitely do a trench board. Absolutely, Warhammer. I remember seeing a few online. Like I think Warhammer World has a kind of trench-inspired sort of diorama thing, if I'm not mistaken. So I wouldn't mind doing one of those. There's so many ideas when it comes to scenery and terrain that I would like to try at some point. So basically anything is on the table when it comes to scenery. Viet Cong! Hi guys, how's things? They are good, Viet Cong. How are you doing this evening? It is good to see you. Yeah, basically, as we sort of progress with this YouTube thing, hopefully I'm going to get the chance to work on a few different things. Speaking with Toby the other day on stream, potentially what we're going to do is, once these 3 sections of the Ash Wastes are complete, we are thinking of possibly doing something that is inside of the Hive City walls. So something that's more akin to like your Zone Mortalis Necromunda type thing. So that's probably the next thing on the list to do. But after that, you know, it is anyone's guess. As I said before, I do want to do a kind of jungle-inspired board. So, yeah, I'd like to get around to that too. When are we inviting Henry to the barbecue? Henry's always welcome to come around and look at the Golden Throne, but he'll be disappointed because it's not finished yet. He will. And as I said, he's got to bring something over from that barbecue because it looks good. Oh, pardon me. Warhammer, would you ever do a heavily orky board? Possibly, Warhammer. I am not, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of like orc-based boards. I don't hate orcs as a faction at all, but I don't know, they've just never really appealed to me with their sort of terrain. So I remember when they had the kill team with Krieg and they had that kind of orky style terrain, it didn't really do it for me. It didn't. So yeah, sorry to sort of take the wind out of your sails with that one. Shrewik, what kits are you using in the next board? Ruin Zone Mortalis. I don't actually know yet, Shruik. Oh, pardon me, I got gas now after drinking all that goddamn monster. Am I going to use Ruined Zone Mortalis? Maybe. I have a load of scenery provided by Hobby House to use. Got loads of regular Zone Mortalis bits. I do actually own a few of the Ruined Zone Mortalis kits, so I might tie them in. But for the time being, I'm focused on getting this section done, and especially like thinking about the hive wall, because the hive wall is obviously going to be quite an undertaking. So I haven't put too much thought into what I'm going to use next, Shruik, but I can imagine that anything that will lend itself well, so such as the Ruined Zone Mortalis and the regular Zone Mortalis, I will probably end up using. So long story short, Shruik, yes. Viet Cong, I'm alright, just cooking dinner, just finished work. Nice, Viet Cong. Got something going on in the background, you got me going on in the background, yapping while you're cooking. Fair enough. What are you cooking? What's for dinner? What are we having, Viet Cong? Are we getting some? Shruik, also, for those on the server, I posted a picture of my Esches. Nice, Shruik. I will take a look at that after the stream. I will go on and take a gander. For any of you who are watching who are new, if you are enjoying the streams and you want to be part of the little community, there is a link to our Discord in the description for this video. So if you're a lurker and you just want to hang out, feel free to come and join us. But also if you're working on something interesting, you can post some pictures in the Discord and share it with the rest of us. Big Brain, I want a Craft World board. It would be, do you know what, Big Brain? I would do a Craft World board. I would. I would have to bend the rules slightly, that I'd want a kind of like ruined Eldar sort of Craft World thing. But it would be fun to do something like that for sure, Big Brain. Toby, would it be a stream without saying, without dropping in to say hey? Hashtag sad chair. He's still here. Still here, Toby. Also, package will be with you tomorrow, my dude. Awesome. Thank you very much, Toby. I was just telling some of the guys on stream earlier that when we're back working on this second part, I will be doing the sort of undertones with the camo shade that you were sending, and then we're going to get some dry brushing done. But for today, I thought I would go back and work on some of the details for section 1 of the Ash Wastes, because obviously we need to finish our shipping containers, which are going to be able to ascend to get to the bridge. But yeah. Joke chair. Joke, Greenane's still using those wooden chairs, Joke. We get you, but it's not sad chair. Long live the Grey names, am I right? King of the Dead. I want to make a Gothic Hive City board. Would be nice for Heresy. I have some STL files for a really bonkers cathedral. That does sound very cool, King of the Dead. I really do like the kind of Gothic element of 40k. So I bet that's going to look great. Especially with the access to like STL files and stuff now, you can just come up with some really cool pieces of scenery for 40k. You know, you're not particularly limited anymore. It's like I've mentioned, I like combining the two. So obviously we have, on this board, we have a bunch of stuff which is official 40k, Games Workshop stuff and Necromunda stuff. And then for our first section, we have STL prints from Sacris Mundus. I want to get that right, as Sacris Mundus. Of the bridge and the ruined dome. So you can just come up with some really cool like boards and terrain layouts with combining both. So yeah. Big Brain, I lost sad chair emoji. You did, Big Brain. You did. Well, you never know. You might get access to it again in the future, or you might rejoin us, or you might get gifted a sub at some point, Big Brain. You never know. You just have to wait and see. Toby, I sent some test smaller FTM crates for you to look at. Might be useful. That sounds great, Toby. That does sound fantastic. I've been having a blast with these at the moment, but anything that I can sort of add to the board as little details, I will certainly have a go at for sure. One of the things I'm definitely looking forward to trying is some of the little weapons piles that have they come with some of the sprues. I can't remember which sprues it is they come with, but there's these really cool like piles of bolt guns and flamers and grenades and stuff. So I'm going to paint up a few of them to stick on the board as well. But I look forward to that, Toby. I'll check them out. Viet Cong, I'm having tortellini with a bit of black pepper and a pinch of salt. That's dead simple but good. That's nice, Viet Cong. I am one of those people who tends to go for pasta without sauce club. I like the ravioli stuff with just, yeah, salt and pepper on the top, basically. And, probably not to Glenn's surprise, but mayonnaise as well. So, I know some of you are going to be like, what? But yeah, pasta and mayonnaise. It's a winner. Big Brain, I need to check out the 3D printers that NTNU has. I haven't seen them myself. I'm not too familiar with all the different printers there are nowadays, but I have seen lots of the stuff that can be printed, and I think it's awesome. And I think as we sort of move forward with this channel, you're probably going to see more 3D stuff as well. So it's not exclusively going to be Games Workshop kits. It will be a blend of the two. Kind of how we're starting out really with this board, you know, blending in the Necromunda stuff with the Games Workshop stuff. Big Brain, NTNU is my university. Oh, you've got access to 3D printers in university, have you, Big Brain? What's that? Can you just pay to print stuff off, can you? Because that might be quite cool for your miniatures. Torhammer, Toby, I think the world of FDM meets Games Workshop is the best way now because it's cost and time effective but allows you to use the best of both worlds. I couldn't agree more with you, Toby. I could not agree more. I think just the quality of stuff that's out there now with sort of scenery designs is really, really good. And yeah, blending in official stuff as well. So like, you know, these go with most 40k and Necromunda stuff, the shipping containers. And I do love them. So yeah, having that sort of blend of both I think is going to be the way as well. And yeah, I look forward to what the future brings, especially if we start exploring inside the hive in Necromunda and the Hobby House Hive. Obviously we will make sure we get our ash waste complete first, but if we choose to push into the hive city itself, I think you'll see some interesting stuff moving forward. King of the Dead, mixing FDM prints, plastic terrain kits and regular terrain. Scratch building is a fantastic thing to do. King of the Dead, fantastic, a fantastic thing to do, exactly. Scratch building, I love it. I do like scratch building stuff. The only thing is going back to time. So if I'm indulging myself and I'm just building something for me, I totally will scratch build it. And I'm sure there will be a time in the future where I just kind of indulge myself and yeah, build something from the ground up. But when it comes to sort of working together on different projects, so, you know, the Hobby House Hive, for example, I can't justify spending lots of time on one scratch build as much as I like them. So yeah, the way forward for us in that sense is mixing in 3D prints and official Warhammer stuff, basically. But yeah, I do agree though, King of the Dead, scratch build stuff is really, really cool. Toby, 100%. Frag Guy, I have a resin printer standing on my clean hobby table now. See, I told you it was worth the time cleaning it, Frag Guy. Got some space now. You can add some spicy stuff to your Necromunda builds. Okay. We are getting there with this one. I'd say we're nearly done with it. Again, I just need to make sure that the corners are sufficiently worn since I decided to put a lot of weathering on the top of this one. And I'm keen to see, so I've been using this liquid pigment to kind of fill in some of the corners, make them look all dusty. And I'm keen to see how it comes out on this white container, because it looks pretty damn good on the green one. But obviously white being a much brighter colour, I feel like it's going to have quite a big impact. Big Brain, I have an FDM printer at home, but I think they have better printers and I think they have a resin printer so I can deal with toxic organic chemicals in a space I don't live in. Yeah, that'd be good. That does make sense actually, Big Brain, because I know you said about printing stuff before and the smell with resin. So yeah, it's good that you can have like another workspace to do it and not worry about sort of gassing yourself out. Viet Cong, that was lush. I needed that. That didn't last long, Viet Cong. You must have been hungry. I feel like that was a few minutes from you said you just cooked it and it's already gone. King of the Dead, resin printed bits are a great way to add to plastic kits. The amount of aftermarket parts I have gotten for my Death Guard Heresy army is quite high, from helmets to all the other minor upgrades. There are some really, really cool upgrades out there. I've got a few sat around actually, so I've got some spiked pads. I can't remember where I got them from. Well, no, I do remember where I got them from. I got them from eBay, but I think it was just a random guy printing them. But the issue is, on eBay, they get taken down so quickly. And these weren't even like Legion specific pads. These were just spiked shoulder pads for Space Marines. And yeah, I bought 2 sets of them. I think they look sick. I think the spiked shoulder pads, sorry, losing my voice there. I think the spiked shoulder pads for Heresy look really, really cool. So I was glad I got some, but yeah, they were gone so quickly after that. Like the listing was taken down. Joke, gotta go guys, see you in the next one. I will see you next week if you're on, Joke, because I will not be on this weekend since I will be in Switzerland on holiday. I'll be chilling out and doing nothing 40k or Necromunda related. I'll just be sat around, chilling out. King of the Dead, take care, Joke, take care, Joke. Toby, I can see Big Chungus Hab sat on the side over there. This makes me happy. Big Chungus is there. I haven't put together Big Chungus yet, but I'm looking forward to it. He is a monstrous Hab. I was actually saying earlier, Toby, that I'm kind of just doing a bit of a mock layout at the moment and seeing what works on the table and what doesn't. So this isn't a particular setup. This is just kind of seeing what it looks like. But I think we're going to try and get Big Chungus involved. And yeah, make you happy. Viet Cong, I am a bottomless pit. And a quick eater. Also didn't realise how hungry I was. That does happen. It's funny because I would expect to eat a lot faster than I do. I'm a very slow eater. But I was raised with a younger brother and sister. And I feel like I should eat quicker. Or I should have developed a way to eat quicker. Especially when your younger brother and sister are always asking for whatever you've got. I remember that happening quite a lot as a kid. But even that being said, I still eat really slowly. Believe Pop Goes the Monkey is still up and running. I am familiar with Pop Goes the Monkey. They've got some very, very cool stuff, and so does Archie's Forge. I haven't actually ordered anything from them yet, but I've had a good look through their catalogue, and they have some very, very cool compatible parts with 40k. But again, the reason I haven't ordered anything yet is because there is no point in me getting any Space Marine stuff at the moment, because it's going to be a long time before it's actually built, so that is the reason why, not because it is not cool. Shruik, you're going to Switzerland? No way, which city are you going to? I am going to Zurich, Shruik. Me and my partner are going for a little weekend getaway to Zurich. And we are very, very much looking forward to it because it's been a while since we've been away. And yeah, should have fun. Toby, looking wild. Thank you very much, Toby. It's definitely getting there. It is definitely getting there. I think it's going to look even better, though, once we start on the Hive wall. Because it's just going to... I want to say it's going to like dominate the board. It's certainly going to be something to behold. But we are going to make sure we get this section up to scratch first, and then we will make a start on it. Viet Cong, good at my old job, used to laugh... sorry, guy at my old job, not good at my old job, although I'm sure you probably were. Guy at my old job used to laugh at me because I ate so fast, like I was starving, and would just inhale my food. That's fair enough. All my mates eat like that. When we go out for food together, they all literally inhale their food. And I'm like, how the hell do you guys eat so quickly? I'm always the last one there with my plate half full. It is what it is. You eat at whatever pace you have to eat at. Okay, so I will show you guys what this is looking like shortly. Again, we've definitely gone for, it wasn't intentional particularly, but we've definitely gone for a heavier sort of weathering with this shipping container, which is fine because, you know, some are going to be left in the waste for longer than others. Oops, losing my place there. Big brain, with the power creep, my crisis suit are becoming space marines. Hi Kirby. Kirby? Oh no, am I missing something? I'm not missing. No, I thought you were on about someone in chat then. Yeah, well I guess the power creep's going to affect everyone, I suppose. Again, I can't really speak to it because I don't play, but I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot about it as we progress into this edition of 40k. Vietcong Groove, table looks good with that sub. Thank you, Vietcong. I don't think this is necessarily going to be the finished setup. I think there's still going to be a bit of experimentation involved. I just want to get a kind of feel for the habs and the size of the habs, because I want there to be enough of them to kind of represent an encampment, but also I want to make sure I get the positioning right, so you've got enough space to move your miniatures around, so there's enough variation in terms of height. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the way it's going, but this might not be the final setup. Shruik, lovely, do make sure to go to the Zurich Lake. It's really lovely. Also get a public transport day card. It's super useful, and make sure to brace for Swiss restaurant and cafe prices. We are fully braced for those, Shruik. We have heard that it is quite expensive in Switzerland, but the good news is we do know that, so there are going to be some you know, some what do you call it, like convenience shop or convenience store meals, but we're going to try and balance it out, you know. We're going to be as cheap as we can be in Switzerland. But yeah, we'll check out the lake. We are doing like a day tour thing on a bus where you go outside of Zurich, I think, look at some of the picturesque places. But yeah, really, really looking forward to it. Fragai, Shruik, are you from Switzerland? Oh, Shruik, and fun fact, if you arrive by plane at Zurich Airport, you'll be passing right next to the military base I done my training at. That is a cool piece of lore, actually, Shruik. I will tell my missus that when we're on the plane. I'll be like, a guy on my stream trained there. It's a small world, really, guys. Let's be fair. You know, I feel like it is a small world. King of the Dead, Switzerland almost feels like home in terms of prices. Where are you based again, King of the Dead? Refresh me, because I feel like you might have told me before, but I have forgotten. I always apologize to you guys because I do have a really bad memory, so apologies in advance. Big Brain, crisis suits used to be Terminator level, but now Space Marines are getting stronger and more durable. What does that make Terminators then? That makes me think, if Space Marines are getting more powerful, what the hell are Terminators going to be like? Because surely they're going to be OP. Gotta make sure I do the feet of this shipping container. I have a bit of a tendency to overlook them sometimes. Make sure we get some weathering on there as well. Otherwise it might look a little bit odd. Fragai, nice, where from? Fragai seconds my question. Okay, let's do a little bit more of this. And then, I think, what's the time? It is 11 minutes past 10. I don't think, guys, I'm actually going to get a chance to oil wash these this evening, because I have to be up early in the morning. So, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get a chance to oil wash. But at least I know that when I get back from Switzerland, these are ready to go. Yeah, I think that one's looking pretty good. Maybe we'll just put a little bit more weathering on this side. And then we will call it an evening. But it's been nice to have you guys with me for the stream this evening. Nice to have some regular faces back on the stream. Viet Cong, Switzerland looks like a stunningly beautiful country. That is one of the reasons, Viet Cong, that we are going. Me and my partner have seen so many clips of Switzerland and its beauty that we want to see it for ourselves. And granted, as Shruk said, it might not be one of the cheapest places, but the thing is, like, I don't want to keep putting stuff off. I just want to go and see, you know? If you keep making excuses not to do something, you know, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. We're just going to be, as I said, a little bit cheap about it, or as cheap as we can be, considering we're going to Switzerland. Okay. I think we are just about done here. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I feel like this one is slightly messier than our first sort of stab at the white shipping containers. Probably because there's a few more hefty chips on this. I might just add a few more hefty ones to the top to kind of blend it in a little bit more. Put a bit more force on that. Viet Cong, you only live once. Exactly. You do only live once. And obviously we all have like different means to be able to do things. But if you can and you have the chance and the ability to do something you haven't done and go somewhere you haven't been, just do it, you know? When the means are there, go and see. Because, yeah, you only have one life. King of the Dead, I live in Norway. We have probably the highest cost of... That's it, King of the Dead. I'm really sorry. I should know that because I think you were talking to Big Brain about that before. Yeah, I live in Norway. We probably have the highest cost of living in Europe, although we have some of the highest salaries too. See, Norway is somewhere that I would very much like to go to as well. And yes, I think I've heard about Norway being rather expensive. But wasn't that the same for... maybe Alex could answer this if he's still here. He might not be here now. But I hear that Denmark as well is a little bit expensive. I don't know whether I got that wrong, but that's what I've heard. Viet Cong, I live in Edinburgh and just about London prices from what I'm told. See, all the trips I've taken to London, London is pretty hideous. It is. I feel like London is one of those places that it's okay to go to if you have plans and you book things there, but just going and being in London, it's so expensive and it does suck. It's gougy prices. King of the Dead, last time I was in the UK, food prices were cheap compared to home. Yeah, it depends where you go, King of the Dead. Pardon me, I got the hiccups again. Here in Bristol, well, depending on what area, things can be quite expensive for like cafes and stuff. Obviously not everywhere, but if you go outside of the cities, me and my partner went to Dorset fairly recently, and we ended up in this, I can't remember the name of the town, by Corfe Castle in Dorset, but they got this little kind of old town village thing, and we went to a bakery there and it was so cheap. It was like prices that I remember as a kid in this bakery, and I absolutely loved it. I bought a pasty and a cake and a drink, and yeah, so basically it's not the same everywhere. It's always more expensive in the cities, and then when you go outside of them it tends to be more cheap. Big Brain, are prices that bad? Oof, I will bear that in mind when I come to Norway then. Viet Cong, you should try and visit Berlin as it's a really cool city. Again, Viet Cong, that's one that's on the list as well, Berlin. I haven't been to Germany yet, but I would very much like to go to Germany. I have said on the stream that I'm not really that well travelled It's only fairly recently, in the past few years, that I've actually started going to different countries and kind of exploring a bit more. I feel like in my 20s I always kind of made excuses, and now I'm trying to make the most of it and explore and actually go and see things. Big Brain, I remember Iceland have everything being about 10% more expensive than home. Ooh. At the moment it's feeling like everywhere is expensive. King of the Dead, compared to most of Europe, Norway is expensive. My lunch yesterday, a cup of coffee, a pastry and a bottle of lemonade, ran me 150 NOK. What's the conversion of that, though, into Great British pounds, if anyone knows? I don't know that. I'm not very good with the conversion. Alex, Copenhagen, that was it. That's it, Alex. Copenhagen is where my brother went, and he said that Copenhagen was rather expensive. Copenhagen will also choke people, if they are not prepared. High taxes, high social security net, but there are so many other places in Denmark. I live in Elsinore, near Kronborg Castle. See, doesn't Denmark, though, have one of the happiest populations? I feel like I've heard that, like, satisfaction, being a citizen in Denmark, and like happy with your living is quite high, being happy with your living. So I feel like everywhere has its pros and cons, but as a German I hate Berlin, says Fragai. But Fragai, I can relate to that, because as someone you know, as being born in Great Britain and England specifically, I don't like London. You know, I'm not a big fan of London, but people come on holiday and they're like, oh, London is really cool. And I'm like, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. There's too many people. There's too much going on. I do not like taking the underground. So yeah, I feel like maybe we can kind of relate. Big Brain, I will try to stay below 50 NOK for my dinner. Oh, King of the Dead, roughly £15. 15 Great British pounds for your lunch. Lord. You can definitely pay that, though, somewhere. Like, you know, in some places in the UK. So maybe it's not too surprising, but yeah, it is on the rather pricey side of things. King of the Dead, I got a full takeout meal with a beer for the same in Berlin. Well, that's pretty cool. Viet Cong Groove. I went to a rave in Berlin at a street that was basically one big squat. It was really cool. I heard that a few years later, riot police were used to clear the squat and get everyone evicted. Lol. Oh god. I'm not sure I'd do that. I'm not sure I'd go to a rave in Berlin, but I wouldn't mind going to Berlin and doing a little bit of exploring. I guess judging by the price of things, I'd just have to do it hungry. Viet Cong, I have heard the city has gone downhill over the last few years due to organised crime. Well, London is always London. London's one of those places that, yeah, you have to be careful of your surroundings and, you know, watch your back and everything, but you have to do that in every major city. I think one of the things, without getting too political in any sort of way, one of the things we all have to bear in mind is that a lot of the time when you see the news and everything, you are just seeing, like, you are seeing all the negative stuff. It doesn't mean that London is really safe, because I'm sure it's not really safe. You know, every time I'm there, I make sure I got everything in my pockets. You know, make sure nothing's in my back pockets. Make sure you're paying attention to everything. But yeah, sometimes the news makes it sound like that it's an active war zone. It's not. It's just you have to be careful. You know. And I feel like, yeah, the news has they do a really good job at doing that with lots of cities. They're like, oh, this is happening, this is happening. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it, but it's not that bad all of the time. Big Brain, where did you go to spend 150 NOK? All right, guys, so I'm going to show you these two containers because I can't be rambling all night because, unfortunately, as I said, I have to get up early tomorrow morning. But I will show you guys these containers. The first one is obviously a little bit less battered than the second one, but I feel like I prefer the first one. Anyway, I will show you guys. Let's see how well this comes up. Let's see if you focus. Oh. Why? I always point it to the wrong... I don't point it to the middle of the camera. Oh, is he focusing, or is it focused on my fat head again? Okay, there we go. If I cover my fat head, it focuses. So that's our first shipping container, which hasn't got too much damage. Obviously, it's going to look a lot more grimy when we do our oil wash and we do our liquid pigment. So here is number 2. Again, cover my fat head. I've done a little bit more damage on the top of this. Again, probably just because I got carried away with chatting. But it doesn't matter too much, you know. Once it's all weathered, it's going to look pretty good and it's going to blend in. And again, we can just kind of like bury it underneath another one or hide it. So not the end of the world, and it will look better as we progress. All right, guys, I'm going to read a few more of these messages that have come through, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. Fragai, Viet Cong, nah, it's still the same. Alex, what major capital city is really safe? Exactly. But the thing is, you haven't got to let that stop you from going. If you want to see one of these cities, just go and do it. Just, you know, treat it like any other big city. Just keep your wallet in your front pockets. If you've got a bag, try and get those little lock things you can get to keep your zippers locked. But have fun, you know, don't go to these places thinking that something's going to happen, because that's just, it's not really what happens. It's just, you got to pay attention. King of the Dead, this would be a good price for most bakeries for what I got. Shruik, Fragai, Geneva Canton. Viet Cong, Edinburgh is pretty safe. Yeah, Edinburgh is, I've heard is pretty good. Other places in Scotland I've heard are a little bit like Glasgow. You've got to kind of be a bit more aware. But yeah, I've heard Edinburgh is nice, and that's somewhere I want to go as well. I think Shruik and Fragai have realised they're quite close to each other, judging by the conversation that they're having. All right, guys. Well, I think I feel safe in Oslo. I feel safe in New York City. Anyone get that reference? Anyone listen to AC/DC? All right then, guys. I think we're going to draw the stream to a close here, but I would just like to take the time to thank you all for joining me on tonight's stream. I've had a lot of fun on tonight's stream, and I'm looking forward to coming back after my holiday and rejoining you guys for some more work on this project. Viet Cong, it's the more small towns that are bad. I guess that depends. I find around the coast it's quite nice here in the UK. Around the south coast, never really had any problems there. Cool. All right then, guys. Again, if you like what you see on these streams, please consider subscribing and becoming a channel member. It helps me do more of these, and it just helps me spend more time on these projects and with you guys. I've got a bunch of links in the video description if you want to support in other ways. I've got like referral links for Artis Opus, Gaahleri Airbrushes, Hobby House. I got all sorts of stuff. So if you're looking for something new, check down there. Other than that, we got the Discord if you want to become part of the community and come and hang out there. We just show pictures of what we're working on and chat and mess around, basically. Mess around. We mess around. Alex, Copenhagen have horse riding police at evenings. Hey. Shruik, have a good one. Enjoy Zurich. Thank you very much, Shruik. I will let you guys know how I get on. Rodney, have fun and be safe. I will. Thank you very much, Rodney. Viet Cong, ta-ta for now. Thank you for joining. All right, guys, it's been really fun. I will see you guys next Wednesday for another stream, and we will pick this back up, and I will tell you all about my adventures in Switzerland. So thank you very much, guys, and I will see you in the next stream. Goodbye. Goodbye.